Today is June 23rd, 2025. My name is Charles Suter. Today I'm presenting part 5 of my 5-part series, Conflict Resolution. Hopefully this will wrap up everything you need to know about how to resolve a conflict. My main message throughout all these talks is that talk out differences without fighting it out. If a conflict becomes contentious and other parties begin acting inappropriately, shift the discussion to their emotions and behaviors, inviting them to enter into a civil discussion as a means to settle the conflict. Tell them emphatically that you will not continue to discuss anything until they calm down and stop threatening and stop the threatening tone of their communication. Remind them that there is more than one side to each dispute, and you will only participate if they engage in peaceful and respectful communication. You need to set the example by your tone and stated intention to help resolve the dispute to everyone's satisfaction. Once the other party calms down, you can lead the discussion by listening and showing your understanding with clarifying feedback of the other party's main points. Now here is conflict resolution principle number 13. Establish firm and clear boundaries. You need to set these as expectations for respectful interactions. Otherwise, the parties may go off on a tangent and the infighting will lead nowhere. So be flexible and willing to compromise, but know your limits and levels of tolerance in advance. So when pushed to your limits, you may have to push back with unequivocally clear communication. Tell them what you are not willing to tolerate. You're permitted to be assertive, but avoid passive and aggressive approaches. Many people lose their cool and resort to anger when they believe they've been grievously wronged. To calm them down, ask simple questions about their complaint and listen politely. If their hostility continues, slow the tempo and ask directed questions. Assume the lead in exploring their problem by asking details and their view about the cause of the problem. By listening and not returning insult with insult, the other party will eventually settle down, and since there can be no fight if you're not fighting, but simply listening and showing interest, they will eventually get the point. Eventually, you must be allowed to share your side of the situation. If the other side is not willing to listen to your side, then suggest the conversation be postponed another day when they have calmed down and willing to listen, rather than just argue. Be firm and explicit. Tell the other party when they're willing to talk and listen, the discussion can continue. But for now, you are withdrawing from the discussion. Just don't reward bad behavior. Conflict resolution number 14. Keep your focus on the future. Prioritize solutions and not past mistakes or problems. The past cannot be redone, so keep your focus on what needs to be done now. Admit your share of responsibility and keep asking, all right, what do we do now? Continue to offer remediation options that can be implemented in the short term. In a dispute, some people immediately seek someone to blame and shift the burden of responsibility so they can win the argument and collect the remedy they believe is due to them. You must emphasize that you also have a stake in the outcome, and any settlement and resolution will require some compromise from both sides. You always have the option of not settling. If there's no willingness of the other side to compromise, then the negotiation's over. The other side is forced to lick their own wounds, but don't give up too soon. Keep everyone's focus on the solutions for each solution and potential settlement outcomes. If they would prefer, ask if they would prefer this or that in terms of settlement options. Keep everyone thinking of solutions rather than problems. Conflict resolution number 15. Take responsibility. Own your mistakes and make amends. People respect others who are willing to take responsibility and share the blame. So, be willing to go more than halfway to resolve a conflict and avoid more strife. What you give up is compensated by a speedy and congenial reconciliation. To set the example, clearly state any aspects of the problem you're willing to take responsibility for, even if the problem is one of shared responsibility. Make multiple offers for settlement as you learn about the priorities of the other side. Many times, intangibles are as important as tangible benefits. I'll give you some examples of intangibles. Saving face, ego enhancement, and the perception of winning. The more willing you are to add these intangibles to any settlement, the more likely the other party will accept them, because it helps them believe they won a moral victory, even if the outcome is just a token victory. So, my final message, again throughout all these presentations, become a peacemaker to avoid and resolve social conflicts. Some disputes are contentious and other parties might be belligerent at the beginning, especially when they believe they're in the right and the issues are based upon principles that are important to them. Whatever the stated issues presented by the parties, there are often other, more important issues behind them. Soft issues such as violating social convention, fairness, and ego, in other words, I need to prove I'm right, are often hidden reasons why there is a dispute rather than physical ramifications initially stated at the beginning of the conflict. Once you've listened and asked questions, you better understand the real hidden motives driving the other side. Then you can frame a settlement based upon the real motives rather than the initially stated reasons. By assuming the role of peacemaker, acting as the bigger person, and offering a generous settlement in terms of intangibles, you stand a better chance of ending a protracted, contentious dispute and perhaps winning the admiration of others. Well, that's all for now. Hopefully you are now ready to become a peacemaker and resolve conflicts between yourself and others or between others and others. So at this point, remember to stay positive. You'll be happier, healthier, and live longer.